It doesn't start with a mushroom cloud. It doesn't start with paratroopers dropping into your cul-de-sac like some 80s movie. It starts with silence. Then, a notification. You're standing in line at the coffee shop, or maybe you're sitting in traffic on the I-95. Your phone buzzes. Then the phone of the guy next to you buzzes. Then the entire room lights up. The emergency alert system. Ballistic missile threat inbound. Seek shelter immediately. This is not a drill. In that split second, the world you know, the commute, the mortgage, the plans for the weekend, evaporates. Most people freeze. It's called normalcy bias. They stare at the screen, waiting for the "just kidding" text. But you? You don't have time to freeze, because the clock just started ticking on the most dangerous 72 hours of your life. The decisions you make in the next 10 minutes will determine whether your family lives to see the fourth day. This isn't a drill, and it isn't a game. Welcome to the timeline. Let's paint a picture. It's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. The alert hits. You are 5 miles from home. Your spouse is at work, 10 miles in the other direction. Your kids are at school. What happens next is chaos. In our simulation, let's look at David. David is an accountant. He sees the alert and thinks, "I need milk and eggs." He drives to the grocery store. Bad move. 500 other people had the same panic response. The parking lot is a demolition derby. Inside, people are fighting over water cases. The credit card machines are down because the cyber attack hit the banking relays first. David is wasting his golden hour, that critical 60-minute window before the gridlock becomes absolute. By the time he gets back to his car, empty-handed, the roads are parking lots. He is trapped in a metal box, exposed, with no supplies, while the sirens start wailing. David is a casualty. He just doesn't know it yet. Don't be David. The moment that alert hits, your primary objective is accountability and consolidation. Stop what you are doing. Do not go to the store. Do not try to top off your gas tank if the line is long. You trigger your family comms plan immediately. Cellular networks will crash within minutes due to congestion. Everybody calling mum at the same time breaks the towers. Text messages take less bandwidth. Send one. Event active. Meeting at Rally Point Alpha. Do not stop. If you are at work, you leave. If you are at home, you stay. You fill every container you own with water right now. Bathtubs, sinks, mixing bowls. The municipal pumps run on electricity. If the grid goes down, or a cyber attack hits the water treatment plant, the pressure in the pipes drops. When pressure drops, backflow sucks groundwater and sewage into the clean pipes. That water coming out of your tap might be the last clean water you see for a month. Capture it before the physics turn against you. Most of you listening to this think you're ready because you bought a case of water and a flashlight from a hardware store. That's cute. But let's look at the math. A family of 4 needs 4 gallons of water a day just for hydration and minimal hygiene. That case of water you bought? That's gone in 36 hours. Then what? You need to stop guessing and look at the hard numbers. I built a tool called Protocol Survival to fix this. It's an app that calculates your actual readiness based on your specific family size and location. It gives you a survival score. If your score is under 60, you are a liability to your family. Don't wait for the siren to realise you're short on supplies. Go to protocolsurvival.com right now, download the app and get your real score. The calculator is free. Ignorance is expensive. Back to the story. It's hour 4. The initial shock is wearing off, replaced by a cold, sharp panic. You manage to get home, but your kids are at school. The school goes into lockdown. This is standard procedure, but in a grid-down or war scenario, the school is a soft target and a chaotic holding pen. You get to the school, but so does every other terrified parent in the district. The administration is overwhelmed. They aren't releasing kids because they can't verify IDs in the chaos. Tempers flare. A fight breaks out in the parking lot. Someone pulls a gun. This is the reality of the suburb. It's not the enemy paratroopers you need to worry about right now. It's your neighbour who thinks you're cutting in line to get his kid. You need to be calm, authoritative, and quick. Get your people, get in the vehicle, and get off the main roads. Secondary routes only. The highways are death traps now. I can hear some of you typing the comment already. Sergeant Miller, you're fear-mongering. The governor would declare a state of emergency, and the National Guard would be passing out MREs by sunset. Let's shut that down right now. In a full-scale World War III scenario, with multiple flashpoints, Russia, China, the Middle East, the US military is fully engaged downrange. The National Guard? They are being federalised and deployed to protect critical infrastructure. Nuclear power plants, major ports, and command centres. They are not coming to your cul-de-sac to direct traffic. They are not coming to bring you a bottle of water. The resources are stretched too thin. You are on your own. The cavalry isn't coming because the cavalry is busy trying to keep the power grid from melting down. Accept that isolation. It's the first step to survival. Hour 8. The sun is going down. This is usually when the power grid fails. Maybe it's a cyber attack on the SCADA systems. Maybe it's an EMP in the upper atmosphere. Or maybe it's just the load imbalance from everyone trying to charge everything at once. The lights flicker and die. The hum of the refrigerator stops. The streetlights go black. The silence is heavy. In the distance, you hear the pop, pop, pop of gunfire. Not a war zone, just fear. People shooting at shadows. Inside your house, the temperature is already starting to drift. Your kids are looking at you. They aren't asking for food yet. They're asking for reassurance. If you panic, they break. You need to light a single candle or use a low-lumen red light. Do not light up your house like a Christmas tree. In a blackout, light attracts moths, and it attracts predators. Light discipline is your new religion. Let's talk SOPs for that first night. You need to black out your windows. Heavy blankets, cardboard, whatever you have. No light escapes. If people outside see light, they know two things. You have supplies, and you have power. Both make you a target. Next, secure the perimeter. Lock the doors, reinforce them with furniture if you don't have security bars. But here is the mental shift. You are not defending a fortress. You are hiding in a hole. You want your house to look abandoned. If the looting starts, the mob goes for the easy targets, or the visible ones. Don't be visible. Inside, you establish a hard room, a central room with no windows, preferably in the basement or centre of the house. This provides protection from stray rounds and, in the worst case scenario, limited fallout shielding. Everyone sleeps in the same room tonight. Nobody sleeps alone. You set a watch schedule. 2 hours on, 4 hours off. Even if you live alone, you sleep with one eye open. Hour 18. Morning brings no relief, only the realization that the internet is gone. Your phone shows no service, the Wi-Fi is dead. You check the TV. Static. This is the information vacuum. The psychological toll of this cannot be overstated. Is the war over? Did we win? Is the fallout cloud heading this way? Or is it just a local outage? Rumours start flying through the neighbourhood. Mrs. Higgins down the street says she heard on a ham radio that New York is gone. Your neighbour Bob says it's just a solar flare. Who do you trust? Without verified intel, every decision is a gamble. If you evacuate, you might drive straight into a radiation plume. If you stay, you might be sitting ducks for a conventional bombing run. The silence is louder than the sirens. This is why you need analog redundancy. If you are relying on Twitter for your intel, you're already dead. You need an AM/FM radio with a hand crank or solar backup. Local emergency stations are hardened against some disruptions and will be the last voice of the government. Better yet, get a NOAA weather radio. And if you are serious, a Baofeng UV5R or a scanner. You don't need to transmit, you just need to listen. Listen to the police bands, fire, EMS. Even if they are using encrypted channels, the sheer volume of chatter tells you something. Silence means the system has collapsed. Frenzied chatter means they are overwhelmed. Specific codes can tell you where the riots are. Knowledge is safety. While your neighbours are trading rumours over the fence, you are listening to the tactical frequencies and mapping the threat. Hour 24. One full day. The adrenaline has crashed. Now the hunger sets in. Not starvation, just the gnawing anxiety of skipped meals. You open your pantry. You see the pasta, the cans of soup. You feel okay. But then there's a knock at the door. It's not a looter, it's worse. It's Dave from next door. Dave is a nice guy. He loaned you his lawnmower last summer. He's standing there, looking pale. "Hey man," he says, "we didn't get to the store in time. The baby is out of formula. Do you have anything?" This is the moment that breaks people. If you give Dave formula, he will tell 3 other neighbours you have supplies. In an hour, you'll have a mob on your porch. If you say no, you are listening to a baby cry through the walls for the next 2 nights. There is no right answer here, only survival. You have to look a good man in the eye and lie to him to protect your own children. That is the cost of unpreparedness. This brings us to OpSec, Operational Security. Your supplies are your life support. You do not talk about them. You do not show them. If you must help a neighbour, you do not hand them a bag of food at the door. You meet them outside, away from your house, looking dishevelled and hungry yourself. You say, "I found this in the back of my car. It's all I have." You never let them see the stockpile. But let's talk about the stockpile itself. By hour 24, you need to be rationing. 2 meals a day, high calorie, low prep. You don't want to be cooking elaborate meals that smell. The smell of bacon in a starving neighbourhood is a dinner bell for violence. Eat cold canned stew. Eat peanut butter. Keep the morale up with small treats, chocolate, hard candy, especially for the kids. But keep the calorie count strictly monitored. You don't know if this is a 72-hour event or a 72-day event. Hour 36. The water pressure's gone completely. The toilets won't flush. This is the part of the apocalypse nobody puts in the movies because it's not sexy. It's gross. But it kills more people than bullets. Dysentery, cholera, typhoid. In a suburb with thousands of people, if the sewage system fails, the environment becomes toxic within days. Your neighbour is digging a hole in his backyard next to your fence. Another neighbour is just using a bucket and throwing it in the street. The smell begins to rise. Flies appear. If you don't have a plan for human waste, your house becomes a biohazard zone. You are fighting an invisible enemy now. Bacteria doesn't care if you have an AR-15. It will kill you just as dead. Hygiene discipline. Write this down. You need a twin bucket system. Bucket 1 is for liquid waste. Bucket 2 is for solid waste. Why separate them? Because urine is sterile when it leaves the body, but feces is a biohazard. If you mix them, you create a slurry of sewage that is impossible to manage and smells like death. You line the solid bucket with heavy-duty contractor bags. You cover each use with carbon material, sawdust, kitty litter, even shredded paper. This desiccates the waste and controls the smell. When the bag is full, you seal it, tape it, and store it outside away from the house until you can bury it deep. You need hand sanitizer, bleach, and wet wipes. You do not touch your face. You do not eat without cleaning your hands. In a grid-down scenario, a minor infection from a dirty cut or fecal contamination is a death sentence, because the ER is not an option. Keep it clean, keep it separated. Hour 48. 2 days in. The radio crackles to life with a jagged report. A tactical nuclear device was used on a military target 300 miles upwind. It wasn't a city killer, but the fallout plume is real. The wind is carrying it your way. Now the game changes entirely. Before, you were worried about looters and water. Now, invisible particles of radioactive dust are drifting toward your roof. You can't see them, you can't smell them, but if they get inside your lungs, they will tear your DNA apart. The panic in the neighbourhood shifts from frantic movement to terrified stillness. People are taping up windows, but tape isn't enough. You need mass. You need geometry. You need to understand physics fast, or your thyroid is going to cook. Radiation protection comes down to 3 things: time, distance, and shielding. You can't control time or distance right now, so you focus on shielding. The goal is to put as much mass between you and the outside world as possible. Gamma radiation is lazy. It doesn't want to go through heavy stuff. Concrete, brick, earth, water, books. You go to the centre of your house. If you have a basement, go there, but stay out of the corners where dust collects. Build a fort. I'm serious. Tape mattresses, bookcases, the dining table. Pile books, water jugs and furniture around your sleeping area. You want a cave inside your room. This creates a geometric reduction in exposure. The halving thickness of packed earth is about 3.6 inches. Concrete is 2.4 inches. Every layer adds up. And stay inside. The radiation levels drop significantly after 24 to 48 hours. It's called the 7-10 rule. For every 7-fold increase in time, radiation drops by a factor of 10. Wait it out. Listen to me. When the fallout is drifting down and the power is out, you cannot Google how to build a fallout shelter. You cannot access your cloud notes where you saved that PDF 3 years ago. The cloud is just someone else's computer, and that computer is dead. You need a system that works when the world doesn't. This is why the offline mode in the Protocol Survival app is critical. It downloads the entire survival database, medical manuals, shelter schematics, communication frequencies, directly to your phone's local storage. Even if the towers are melted, you have the intel. Don't rely on a connection that won't exist. Secure your data now. Go to Protocol Survival, download the app, and sync the library. Do it before the screen goes black. Hour 60. You've been inside for 2.5 days. The air in the house is stale. The kids are crying. You are exhausted. Sleep deprivation is making you hallucinate shadows. This is the psychological breaking point. Cabin fever is dangerous. It makes you reckless. It makes you want to go outside just to breathe fresh air. Don't. Outside is still radioactive. Outside is still anarchic. You hear glass breaking down the street. Looting has started in earnest now that the initial shock is gone and the hunger is biting. You have to maintain discipline inside the house. Keep the routine. Eat at specific times. Clean the living space. Tell stories. Keep the mind occupied. If you let the despair take over, you will make a mistake. You will open the door. You will show a light. And the darkness outside is waiting for that one slip-up. We need to have the uncomfortable conversation. Defense. If you have weapons, they should be cleaned, loaded, and staged. But having a gun doesn't make you safe. Knowing when to use it does. In a WROL without rule of law scenario, the rules of engagement change, but morality does not. You are not a warlord, You are a protector. Your rules of engagement, ROE, are simple. Defense of life only. You do not shoot someone for stealing your lawn ornament. You do not shoot warning shots. That just gives away your position and wastes ammo. You only engage if there is an immediate, credible threat to the physical safety of your family inside your perimeter. And remember, if you pull that trigger, there is no ambulance coming for the bad guy, and there is no police coming to take a report. You have to live with the aftermath, the body, the psychological trauma, the retaliation from his friends. Violence is the absolute last resort, but if you have to go there, you go with 100% violence of action. No hesitation. Hour 72. The sun rises on the third day. The fallout radiation levels have dropped to survivable limits for short durations. The water is still off. The power is still out. The news on the radio says the front lines have stabilized. Or maybe they've crumbled. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you made it. You survived the shock. You survived the panic. You survived the fallout. But as you look out the window at the quiet, changed suburb, you realize something. The 72-hour kit wasn't a solution. It was a bridge. You have crossed the bridge. Now you are on the other side. And the other side isn't going back to normal next week. The grocery store isn't restocking. The police aren't coming back on patrol. The timeline has shifted from emergency to lifestyle. This is your new reality. The first 72 hours are about adrenaline and reaction. The next 72 days are about calories, community, and endurance. Now you have to assess. Do you stay? If the radiation is manageable and the house is secure, maybe. But if the water is gone forever and the city is burning, you need to plan your bug out. Not the panic run you avoided on day one, but a calculated, tactical relocation. You need to identify allies. That neighbour Dave, the one you denied food to, you might need him now. He has a generator, you have medical supplies. Community is the only way to survive the long term. You can't stay awake 24/7 forever. You need a tribe. Start small, be careful, but start building. The lone wolf dies in the winter. The pack survives. Your kit needs to evolve from granola bars to seeds, from bottled water to filtration systems. The sprint is over. The marathon has begun. Look at your family. They look different than they did 3 days ago. There is soot on their faces. They are thinner, quieter. The innocence is gone. This is the hardest part of the curriculum, the protection of the soul. You preserve their bodies, but you have to preserve their humanity too. Don't let the survival mindset turn you into a monster. When you ration the food, do it with love, not anger. When you reinforce the door, explain why without terrifying them. You are the anchor. If you crack, they drift away. You have to be the strongest thing in the room, not just physically, but emotionally. You have to carry the weight of the world so they don't have to. That is what it means to be a protector. It's not just about the gear, it's about the grit. We spend a lot of time talking about gear, about water filters and ammo counts. And those things matter. But in the first 72 hours of a world war, the most important tool you have is your mind. The ability to suppress the panic, to ignore the herd, to make the hard, cold calculus of survival. The suburb is an illusion of safety. It's a thin veneer of drywall and asphalt over the chaos of nature. When that veneer cracks, you see what's really underneath. Some people see that darkness and they break. You have to stare into it and get to work. The 72-hour kit isn't what saves you. The kit is just stuff. You are the weapon. You are the shelter. You are the contingency plan. Stay safe, stay dangerous.